Hello there. This is actually a video I've been meaning to make, but couldn't because, we had actually stopped watching the movie about halfway through because it was so boring. But I figured as I am on the job at the moment, I may as well, take about 2.5 hours out of my busy day and watch Jurassic World Dominion. Yes, this is the final film in this New World trilogy that I'm not so crazy about. You know all my thoughts and opinions on the whole matter. I don't need to express them any further. But yes, it is evidently free on Amazon Prime, and I'm going to be watching it here. So I've got my salmon nuggets, and I'm going to basically watch this and then record my reaction afterwards. We'll tell you how much it sucked. Anyway, we'll see you in give or take 2 hours.
3 hours later.
You know, I had said from the beginning that I would only watch all of these world films once, and for good reason, because they are not Jurassic Park at all. They're really just abortions of Hollywood and such. They don't even really... I understand now why it is that I despise them so. It's because they don't feel like Jurassic Park films. They almost feel as though they're these big budget action films, sort of like, everyone else has said this, but The Fast and the Furious. That just so happens to have dinosaurs in there somehow. Don't know why, they just do. And I've seen World pretty much when it came out. I did not see it in the cinema. There were other ways to see films, that's all I'll say. And I thought that was the most terrible piece of dreck that I've ever seen. I thought it was an offense to the Jurassic name. And it worked as sort of like a generic popcorn sort of a film, but it failed miserably as a Jurassic Park film. Was Fallen Kingdom. I actually went and saw that one in the cinema because for some reason in my deluded brain, I had suspected that from the trailers and advertisements that it looked somewhat appealing. I believe my exact words once I emerged from the movie house were thus: that film was about as dumb as a sack of stones and half as bright. It's just, I understand now why, like I said, I don't like these films at all. But if any of you want to know why it is that I don't necessarily follow all of the Jurassic Park whole community sort of thing, well, I'm not a part of that. It's because that people basically promote this garbage and elevate it up to the rarefied status of the original. A lot of people think that only the first film exists, which there's 2 others. I hate to tell you that, but there are 2 others, which are equally as good. To be honest with you, I grew up with all 3. I will talk about this here soon. This year, the first film turns 30 years of age, and I will discuss my personal history with Jurassic Park here eventually. But I consider all those films one and the same. And these world films were just the worst things I've ever seen. 1 and 2, World and Fallen Kingdom. And I vowed never to see them again. I have not seen them since. I do not plan to see them again. I could live the rest of my life without ever needing to see those films again, be it on television, by accident or of my own accord. I have no desire whatever to see them. They are not canon. I'm sorry. They're just not. It's just that and this Clayton Fieri, however you say his name, person, who claims that, well, I didn't see the video, so I don't know if this is true or not, who claims that basically this sort of, these world films expand more on Crichton's original lore. As someone who hasn't read the original novels in over a decade, I can tell you that you are full of bologna. If you think that that's the case. Because most likely he wouldn't have approved of this at all. Those first 2 films, World and Fallen Kingdom. Dominion, we had originally watched, my brother and I, because we were going to watch it back in summer when it was, I suppose, out streaming, however you say. But to be honest, he was bored by the film, and we decided to shut it off about halfway into it. And that was back in July, and we haven't really referred to the thing since. It's been over 6 months, and pardon me, I was here, salmon nuggets, I was here, and I was on the job, I was bored, and I decided, why not? I may as well see this thing once in my life, because I'll probably never see it again, and I could finally tick it off my list, because also, if and when I do eventually get around to doing the Sam Neill marathon, which is seeming to be all the more unlikely because there are way too many films and television programs that he's been in that I've not seen. But if and when I do get around to it, I would have seen his latest movie, which is this. But if and when I do get around to this Sam Neill marathon, I would have seen his latest picture. So, I had read a whole lot and have seen a whole lot prior to watching this film. And so I sort of knew what to expect from it. I knew it was probably not going to be good, much less great at all. And I went in with just low expectations when I had watched this film. And surprisingly, after having seen it for pretty much the first time, not counting the one instance in which we had to stop it because he was bored by it, it actually wasn't completely terrible. It wasn't bad at all, to be quite frank with you. Of all of these abominable world films, this one, I think, feels the most like it's at least trying to be a Jurassic Park film. There's actually quite a bit in there that I admired from it. For instance, whenever it would cut to a different location, you would see little white text denoting what the name of this location is and its proximity to such or another location. That was something present from the very first film up until Jurassic Park 3. It has not made its appearance since, up until this film, and I was very pleased when I saw that. Another instance that really did give me quite a bit of joy was the latter portion of the film. I don't want to necessarily give away spoilers, but it's essentially, I'd hate to say a lesser version, but it pretty much is a lesser version of the trying to, I guess, access the breakers scene from the original. And believe you me, there is a green button. And while it doesn't say push to close, I was pretty much silently chanting, it says push to close. And little things like that really did make me smile, to be honest with you. If I can remember something else, obviously, the three original characters, Grant, Sattler, and Malcolm were in there, and that gave it more credence than I had given it credit for. But there is still a lot in there that is very problematic. I cannot necessarily agree with the whole locust thing. I thought that was completely stupid. And also, apparently I had gotten this wrong. What I assumed from the outset was that this English girl was sort of a chimerical being which was half human and half raptor. I still think that my theory is better than what she actually is. She's, I guess, a clone or something that was made asexually from another one or something. I don't know exactly how the whole thing works, but it wasn't very convincing, and I still think my idea is way better, if you know what I'm saying. And then also, the main villain of this picture is Lewis Dodson, who was briefly in the original, and he's greatly expanded in the novels. But they sort of make him like this, I suppose, corporate CEO type of a fellow for this rival genetics company. And to be honest, he's not really that great of a villain, but there's one moment in there that I just cannot get over. It seems as though that the man, who is not the original actor, I don't know exactly why they couldn't get the original actor. Maybe he's dead. I don't know exactly the reason behind it. If any of you do know, do inform me. But I swear that he had forgotten his lines. And he was basically saying to Grant and Sattler, hey, if you want to go over there and we can, I don't know, have some, you can meet me over the complex. And he just kept saying, and you could tell that he didn't memorize it. It was hilarious, man. It really was. But, and then also, the evident lack of dinosaurs in this picture did detract from it. but at the same time, it didn't necessarily hamper the film itself. To be honest with you, I do think that this picture could work. There is a good movie in there. It's about 2 hours and 26 minutes long in the theatrical version, because apparently there was an extended version that's about maybe 3 hours long, and apparently I've heard accounts that they've actually shot a 5-hour version. Who knows if we'll get to see that, but anyhow, I would say that if you were to cut out maybe half of this film, it actually would be serviceable. As it stands now, I cannot truly say that I enjoyed it, but I was thoroughly surprised. And this has me interested in possibly viewing the extended cut, and I may well go back on my word in saying that I would only see these world films once, because I dare say that I may want to see this again. It wasn't earth-shaking, yet at the same time, it wasn't like crap. There was still plenty in there to not enrage me, because believe you me, I was enraged when I saw World, and I was just stupefied by Dominion. This just kind of, it annoyed me just a little bit. I would obviously critique the film audibly as I was watching it, but at the same time, there's plenty of good qualities to it, and they may not outweigh the bad, but they still make the experience, in the end, I find worth enduring. So, I bet you didn't expect that from me. I actually sort of liked Dominion. For the longest time, I had assumed that these Jurassic films, you could basically rate them in the order that they came out as to which is best and which is worst. I am unsure of that right now, because the way I see it, it's Jurassic Park, The Lost World, Jurassic Park 3, Dominion, World, and Fallen Kingdom. And I know Josephine will probably disagree with me, because I hear that she thought the film very, very horrid indeed. But no, to be honest with you, I actually had fun watching it, even though there was a lot of bad in it. I wasn't completely bored by it. Maybe because I had watched it on my own and not with my brother. I'm not sure how this experience would differ with another person at my side. But nonetheless, I can safely say that I liked Jurassic World Dominion, and thought it was just okay. And we'll probably see it again. Anyway, that will be it for this video. I'm going to probably go ahead and get ready for bed, because it's about 8 o'clock. And it may not be late for most, but it certainly is late for me. I hope you all have a lovely morning, midday, afternoon, evening, midnight, whenever you happen to see it. These gummy bears are very tough, and hopefully we'll see you here very soon. Cheers.